Science!
Welcome to Science this week, everybody. First up, let's talk about space, specifically SpaceX, and news about their recent mission to the International Space Station. SpaceX launched the Dragon capsule aboard a Falcon 9 rocket early Saturday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And this was actually the second flight of this capsule. It bears a small space station emblem on the side that indicates its previous flight in 2017. And that's what's so amazing about SpaceX and their reusable rockets and capsules. This is mission CRS-17. And you might remember kind of the same kind of thing from CRS-15 when Death Wish Coffee went to the International Space Station aboard a Falcon 9 rocket and a Dragon capsule as well, not the same one. I have some video actually directly from SpaceX detailing this incredible launch and the reentry of the rockets. And here's a super clip of that.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9's going to be your first flight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff. And Dragon go Falcon.
Vehicle is pushing downrange. Airship AOS.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
Vehicle is supersonic. Vehicle is experiencing maximum aerodynamic pressure.
It's just after T plus 1 minute, and we have had a nominal liftoff of our Falcon 9. We're just about to pass through max Q, which is the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see. Actually, we've confirmed that we've passed through max Q. So now we will have a series of 3 events coming up in rapid succession: main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start. Main engine cutoff, or what we like to call MECO, is where all 9 engines on the Falcon 9 first stage shut down. This is then followed up by the stage separation, or the separation of the first and second stages. And then finally is the second engine start, where the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage lights up and begins to carry Dragon to its targeted orbit.
Stage 1.
And there you can see on your left screen there that first stage re-entry burn has just begun. It's glowing pretty bright there.
Continues to follow a nominal
So we're not getting a lot of sunlight. At least the engines are giving us a good view of that first stage. And it looks like we got an infrared shot of stage 1 there. That's an awesome view. So we're not getting a lot of sunlight. At least we could see it with the infrared view. And there's that landing burn beginning. That looks awesome.
On May 6th, the SpaceX Dragon cargo ship actually arrived at the International Space Station. It carried 5,500 pounds, almost 3 tons of experiments and other supplies to the awaiting Expedition 59 crew. Astronaut David St. Jacques of the Canadian Space Agency made the catch of the Dragon capsule with the station's Canadian-built Canadarm2 robot arm. David said, "We welcome to ISS the Dragon spacecraft as part of the SpaceX 17 cargo mission. As a Canadian, I'm proud every time we use the Canadarm2 for free flyer capture. My crew and I are proud to be part of this today, representing the dedicated teams of talented people who every day make the seemingly impossible a reality." And it's been pretty common, for these SpaceX missions to go on up there. This is the 17th one since they've started delivering supplies and experiments up to the ISS, and it's really, really incredible when the astronauts get to capture it. And again, I have some actual video from the space station of the astronauts capturing the Dragon capsule and docking it to the station.
Canadarm2 is now in motion and aligning with the vehicle. The arm now 4 meters away from that grapple fixture. The arm is now 1 meter from Dragon. The arm is over the pin. And we have capture of the SpaceX Cargo Dragon on its 17th commercial resupply mission to the International Space Station. Capture occurred at 6:01 a.m. Central Time as the station and Dragon were flying over the North Atlantic Ocean.
Now, this capsule was not only containing supplies for the astronauts aboard the space station, it was a bevy of science experiments in there as well. Some of these include NASA's orbiting Carbon Observatory 3, which will be installed on the exterior of the space station, and tissue chips to simulate the behavior of human organs in space. And to give you a little bit more on that, Lucy Lowe, a researcher at the National Institutes of Health, said during a press conference, these are bioengineered miniature devices that are about the size of a USB key, and they recreate the structure and function of human organs and tissues in a very lifelike manner. They're essentially tools which can help us model different diseases and test the safety and efficiency of different drugs in a very realistic manner without actually testing these drugs in humans or in animals. Researchers partnered with NASA to adapt these tissue chips to be used in space, and this set will see a lung and bone marrow chip, a cartilage and bone chip, and a chip that simulates the blood-brain barrier, and also one that cultivates kidney cells. This is science fiction in reality, and it's really cool that we're not only using what we know about human physiology and human biology while on the space station by monitoring our astronauts, but we're doing more experiments with stuff like this with these incredible tissue chips. While tissue chip technology is improving for use on Earth, the space station is actually a pretty good place for this type of research. Lowe also went on to say microgravity causes changes in human health and physiology that look a lot like those that are associated with different kinds of aging. You see things like bone and muscle mass loss, changes in the cardiovascular system, changes in the immune system, and we can actually use this kind of accelerated aging environment to help study diseases in microgravity in just a few weeks that could actually take years to study on Earth or to even become something that could be seen clinically. Really, really neat stuff, and furthering our medical science every single day on the International Space Station. Dragon will also be bringing an onboard facility on the space station called Hermes. This will be able to run 4 experiments at a time for hours, days, or month with video feedback. And Hermes will be able to accommodate investigations into asteroid and comet formation, impact dynamics, and planetary evolution, the researchers involved in the project said. Really, really cool stuff, and it'll be exciting to see all the data we get from these new science experiments on the space station, and we're constantly upping the game with science up there. It's so exciting. And this is all in line with the current mission of SpaceX to continue sending Dragon capsules as supply missions to eventually make it to Crew Dragon missions. And if you remember in the news just a few weeks ago on April 20th, the company conducted a ground test of the emergency abort system of the Crew Dragon, and it unfortunately had a failure and exploded. Investigations as to exactly why this occurred and what can be done to fix it moving forward are still ongoing, and we're still assessing all of the data and basically CSIing the launch pad to really figure out what went wrong. And that's why we do these tests. No one was harmed. No one was hurt. Unfortunately, the technology was lost. But SpaceX is working to make, obviously, more Crew Dragons. That's always been the goal. And the goal is to eventually make, later this year, its first Crew Dragon unmanned mission to space and back. And then that will lead the way to eventual manned missions from the Crew Dragon. And that will be very, very exciting. And, you know, that again, that's why we test all of that stuff. So next, I want to talk about something on Earth. We've got some new details concerning China's Terracotta Army. This is one of the most incredible historical finds of human history, especially in the last 100 years in China. The Terracotta Army of Xi'an was uncovered in 1974 by farmers, making it literally one of the most important and unexpected historical finds. Life-sized, realistic ceramic figures representing warriors and warrior stations in 3 large pits within the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. The first emperor of unified China. He ruled between 259 and 210 BC. Over 2,000 of these warriors have been excavated so far, and it's estimated that there could be several thousand more still buried. Every single one of these warriors is different. Different face, slightly different armor configuration, different posture, all possibly representing depictions of real people and real warriors at the time. The warriors were also armed with fully functional weapons made primarily of bronze: spears, lances, hooks, swords, crossbows, and even 40,000 arrowheads have been since uncovered, and all almost completely pristine. The preservation of these weapons is uncanny. Many of them still have sharp blades and shiny surfaces. Once, this was thought it was from chrome plating that might have been adhered to these weapons and used to keep them intact. But new science now suggests that the chemical composition and characteristics of the surrounding soil may have played a major part in keeping these weapons pristine. Dr. Zusen Lee, a researcher at the Institute of Archaeology at the University College of London in the UK, said some of the bronze weapons, particularly swords, lances, and halberds, display shiny, almost pristine surfaces and sharp blades after 2,000 years buried with the Terracotta Army. One hypothesis for this was that Qin weapon makers could have utilized some kind of anti-rust technology due to chromium detected on the surface of these weapons. However, the preservation of the weapons has continued to perplex scientists for more than 40 years. Now, Dr. Lee and co-authors show that the chromium found on the bronze surfaces is simply contamination from lacquer present in adjacent objects and not the result of an ancient anti-rust technology. They also suggest that the excellent preservation of these bronze weapons may have helped the modern alkaline pH, small particle size, and low organic content of the surrounding soil. Dr. Lee went on to say the high tin composition of the bronze, quenching technique, and the particular nature of the local soil go some way to explain their remarkable preservation, but it's still possible that the Qin dynasty developed a mysterious technological process, and this deserves further investigation. By analyzing hundreds of artifacts, the team found that many of the best preserved bronze weapons did not have any surface chromium. This Terracotta Army is still yielding incredible discoveries 2,000 years after being buried. Xi'an's tomb itself has still yet to be excavated as researchers work tirelessly to uncover but also preserve the delicate structures within the area and also the surrounding area in China. Ancient texts that have been discovered considering this tomb say that there could be even more mysteries and wonders within. The tomb was filled with models of palaces, pavilions, and offices, as well as fine vessels, precious stones, and other rarities, reads a translation from that text. The account indicates the tomb contains replicas of the area's rivers and streams made with mercury, flowing to the sea through hills and mountains of bronze. Precious stones such as pearls are said to represent the sun, the moon, and other stars. Modern tests of the tomb mound have revealed unusually high concentrations of mercury, so this actually leads some credence to what has been discovered in these texts. It could actually contain some of those wondrous models. Chinese archaeologists are also using remote sensing technology to probe the tomb mound. The technique recently revealed an underground chamber within 4 stair-like walls. An archaeologist working on the site told Chinese press that the chamber may have been built for the soul of the emperor. And experimental pits that have been dug around the tomb have revealed dancers, musicians, and acrobats full of life and caught mid-performance, a sharp contrast to all of the military poses of the famous terracotta soldiers. There are some great documentaries all about this that have been put out by National Geographic, by the BBC, and you can find a lot of these in full and in clips on YouTube. I definitely recommend you, if you're interested in this, to look more into this because it is one of the most incredible historical finds we've ever had, and we've never found anything to rival it. No one has ever created thousands of terracotta ceramic warriors to adorn their tomb. Even some of the most crazy tombs that we found in Egypt are paled in comparison by this tomb of terracotta warriors from Xi'an. It's absolutely incredible, and we're going to continually find new discoveries all the time as they uncover more and more about this as the months and years to come. And it's really exciting.